Hey guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. So for today's review, I will be talking about Snowden, which is directed by Oliver Stone and starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Edward Snowden and Shailene Woodley. This is about the NSA's illegal surveillance techniques, which Snowden released to the public. And so this is based on a true story. This kind of goes through his rise through all the various parts of the government leading up to eventually him leaking out this information, right? Okay, so this movie is 2 hours and 14 minutes long, and I gotta say up front, at that length, it was a bit too long for me. It didn't quite hold my attention throughout the entire thing like I thought it would. So first, let's get this out of the way. The acting overall, I think, was really good. The only questionable thing I had was Gordon-Levitt's kind of accent that he did, because I thought he was trying to mirror the actual Edward Snowden, but found out that they don't quite sound the same, so I don't really know why he did that. However, this was definitely something that I was interested in, and actually this whole event happened not that long ago, so it's very fresh in the public's mind. And from a story perspective, they do showcase specifically one side of the events. They choose to pick a side and showcase that side. So whether that's the full thing or not, it's hard to say, but this movie does bring up a lot of questions for the audience members to think of, to ask themselves, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I did enjoy seeing kind of Snowden's rise to power, if that's what you want to call it. I like to see everything that he went through, and of course we get his personal life as well, dealing with Shailene Woodley's character, who plays his girlfriend in the movie. So all that was fine. I did feel like they showcased a bit too much of it. In fact, the last 20 minutes or so, I think, is where the movie really comes into full gear, and we're at the event that we were kind of building up to the entire time, at what we wanted to see. And it plays out. It's very interesting. It's kind of one of those things that keeps your attention. However, there's a bit of this movie that just drags on too much. They tend to let things play out slowly, and while I can be offended that, I can understand that to a degree, at the runtime it did feel like it was overly long. So I didn't really care for that. But I do think that the acting of it was good, and of course the story itself was compelling, was intriguing. And there's a bit they do at the end, which I thought was kind of neat for them to do, right? I won't give away what it is, but there is someone shows up, and I thought that was definitely an interesting thing to do. But to be honest, guys, there's not a whole lot to really say about this without really breaking into the detail of it. I thought, I thought the acting was good. I thought the relationships you buy into them, you see the motivations for why Snowden ultimately does what he does. So you get a good sense of that aspect of it. You get a little sense of why the government was doing this to begin with, but they don't really focus on that. That's not the point in the story. So it is a bit more one-sided, as you would expect it to be. Levitt's kind of voice that he chose to go with, though, I'm not entirely sure why he chose that particular voice. It just didn't seem like it represented the character for me, so it felt a little out of place. I think Shailene Woodley actually did a really good job in this too. I was surprised. I didn't know she was going to be in the movie, and I don't remember much in the way of much in the way of seeing her in any of the promotion for this. So I must have just missed over her. But her being Lindsay Mills in this, and seeing the back and the kind of the roller coaster of a relationship with Snowden was, again, it had its moments where it dragged on too long for me, and it certainly wasn't the focus of the movie, or shouldn't have been the focus of the movie, in my opinion. But just her acting in general sold me enough to where I enjoyed the movie. So, this movie wasn't as good as I would have hoped it would be. Again, it focused far more on the build-up than it actually did on the event itself. So that's kind of disappointing. Overall, giving it a rating 1 through 10, I think I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think a 7 is pretty fair for it. But that's my opinion on it. What did you guys think about it? Hopefully, you'll let me know in the comments below, and you enjoyed this vid by clicking that like button, sharing, subscribing to my channel if you haven't, and watching my other vids. I do appreciate it. And until next time, peace.